This video is about linear transformation, right? So linear transformation. Okay. So the importance of this thing, or the idea behind this thing, is that this linear transformation, what it means, maybe by assumption, let's consider this one to be let's say you have a raw product. So let's say this is a raw product. So you have a raw product here. So what I mean by this raw product, this thing can be, let's call this one rice, right? So this is a rice. So the linear transformation here will be the heat, right? So the heat that will transform all your products, right? So this heat here is what we are calling what? Linear transformation. Is that okay? So this is what we are calling a linear transformation, to transfer your raw material or the rice here to maybe something like, let's say, a jollof rice, right? So a jollof rice, right? So the heat at the middle here is what we are calling what? A linear transformation, just by assumption. Now we are going to solve some of the questions relating to this particular topic. So make sure that you watch the video to the end and see how to apply this thing to and fro, right? So now mathematically we are calling this thing the image, right? So this is the image that we are having. So this is the image here. Of course, this is a linear transformation, right? So this will be our linear transformation. Is that okay? So a linear transformation, and then this will be the point, right? So mathematically, this is what that we are trying to say. So from the point together with the linear transformation, and then we get to what? The image. So the definition here is that the image, which is what our finished product. So in this case, that will be the jollof rice, will be equal to the point, right? So the point, and then multiply by this linear transformation. Is that okay? Or linear transform. So the linear transformation here, sometimes we call it for the matrix, right? So this is what our matrix. So that was a very simple scenario that you can imagine. So let's see how you can use this, some of these things in solving a pure exams questions. The question says you should find the image of a point. This is the point, right? So we are calling the point here P, and that is what 5,3, right? Under the linear transformation, so this is the matrix. So under the linear transformation, 1 0 and then 0 -4, right? So of course, for understanding people, this will be our raw products, right? So this can be the rice in our case, and then this matrix will be the heat that will transform what? The raw product here into the finished product. So maybe sometimes that can be the jollof. Remember the definition. So if you combine the raw product and then together with the heat, we can have what? Our jollof done. Is that okay? Now they say you should find the image. Of course, this guy will be what? The image. So this is the image that we are going to find. So the image here, by definition, so the image here will be equal to that is the point, right? So the point multiply by the matrix, right? So this is very simple. So you have the point. So this point here has to tend to be a vector form. So you have the point that is this point that should be 5,3, right? So 5,3, and then multiply by the matrix. So this is the matrix. That's 1 0 and then 0 -4. Okay, you must know how to multiply, right? So if you don't know how to multiply this thing, make sure that you may check our lesson on the matrices. So I will demonstrate that in just this video. So make sure that you watch along. If you enjoyed the video so far, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. So this is how you multiply. The trick that I've been using here is just have some L down. So maybe L upside down. So this is something like we have L. Is that okay? So maybe any shape that you can call. So what it means here is that we are going to use everything here, this guy, to multiply everything here, and then use this guy here also to multiply everything. And that's why we are having the L shape. Okay, Now, how do you multiply? So what I mean by this thing is that this 5 multiply what the 1, so that will give us a 5 multiplied by 1 plus, right, plus what 5 and then multiply by what, by 0. So this one will be what, 5 multiplied by 0, that should be what, that should be 0. Is that okay? Have you see the L shape like this, right? And then when you get to the 3, the 3 will multiply the 0, that should be what, 3 multiplied by 0 plus this 3, right? So this 3 here will multiply what, negative 1, right? Have you see the L shape? Okay, so 3 multiplied by negative 1, that should be 3 multiplied by what, negative 1. Okay, we are having this. So your final answer here is going to have that should give us a 5. 5 multiplied by 1 should be 5, and the plus this one, that should be 0. And then here should be 0, and then that one should be negative 1. Negative 1. Negative 3. Is that okay? So very, very simple. And then here we are going to have what, 5, right? So 5 plus 0, that should be 5, and then 0 plus 1 negative, that should be negative 3. Right? So this will be your final answer. And this is how simple you multiply. The most important thing here is that you just have to know how to do the multiplication. Is that okay? All right. So here comes the second question that says that a linear transformation is represented by 2 by 2 matrix. So this is what you are given, 2 by 2 matrix. If you don't know what a 2 by 2 matrix, this is what it means, right? So maybe 2 rows and then 2 columns, right? So maybe this guy, the one that goes from left to right, that is what the row, right? So let's say we don't know that 2 by 2 matrix. So in mathematics, if you don't know something, we just use a variables to represent what. So like here we are going to use A, and then B, and then as well as C, and then D. So this is what we call a 2 by 2 matrices. Is that okay? The reason being 2 by 2 is that you see one row. So this is what we are calling one row here, and then what, 2 rows, and then from top to down is the column. So first column and then second column, making what, 2 by 2 matrices. So they say a linear transformation is represented by 2 by 2 matrices. Okay, so here is what we are calling it what, A. Right, so let's call the matrices. So of course you know this, that this is a linear transfer. So this, by our scenario, this will be what, the heat, right? So this heat is going to transform what, the raw product to the finished item. So maybe the jollof in this case. Okay, now you have the image of the point, the point you have 1, right? So 1 0, right? So this is the image of the point. So this point will be our raw material, right? So the point, so the image of the point is what, is negative 13 and then 14. So this is the image, right? So negative 13 and then comma 4, right? So this is the 4. So this will be what, our image. So in this case, this can be what, the jollof, right? Is that okay? Very, very simple. Okay, now if this is the jollof, what are they asking us to do? So what it means here is that if you combine the raw material together with the heat here, that should give us the image. So here we are going to have the image. So this image here, which is equal to the point, and then multiply by what, the matrix. So you have the matrix. So you have the image. The image also, so you have to change everything into what, a vector form. So the image is on negative 13 4, right? So negative 13 4, which is equal to the point. The point we had what, 1 0. So 1 0. So 1 0, and then multiply by the matrix, which is A, B, and then C, and then D. Is that okay? Now let's move on. What are we looking for? You have to find the matrix, the heat that transform the raw product. So how do you do that? The same scenario. So we are maintaining the negative 13 and then comma 4 here on the left hand side of the equation. So this guy multiplied by this, that should give us a, now by now you should know how to multiply this thing. Is that okay? So here we have A multiplied by that one, that should give us A, and then B multiplied by 0, that should be 0, right? So that should be 0. Is that okay? So if you continue like that, then you should arrive at C0. So this is how simple. I demonstrated this thing in the first part of this, so this should be something very easy to comply with. Okay, now here if you proceed, you are going to have something that is equal to 13. straightforward will be equal to negative 13 will be equal to A. All right. So and then we had what 4 should be equal to 6. So meaning that A is equal to 13, then C is equal to 4. Okay. Now the second part of the question says that the image of the point. So the point that we are having what 0, 0, 1, right? So this is the point under the transformation A. So A, which we don't know of course, that is the A, B, and then C, D, and then the image here is we have the image to be equal to that should be 6 comma negative of 19, right? So this is the image. Is that okay? Of course, with the same scenario, we are going to combine the points and the matrix, which is the converter here, which is equal to the image, right? So which is equal to the meaning that we have the image that should be 6. We just like the first part, right? So 6 negative 19 will be equal to the point. So maybe here we can turn in the other way. So the matrix is first, so A, and then B, and then C, and then D, and then multiply by what? The point, which is 0, 1, right? So here we are going to multiply this guy. So you may pause the video, just try this thing, and come and check the solution. Now let's proceed. So here we are going to have 6 negative 19, which is equal to this guy multiplied by that. A multiplied by 0, that should be what? 0, or maybe A plus 0, right? So A multiplied by 0, that should be 0 in that. Let's move straight forward. So A multiplied by that should be what? 0, and then B multiplied by 1, that should be what? That should be what? B, right? So that should just give us B, so plus B. Is that okay? So C multiplied by D, so that should be equal to 0, and then D multiplied by 1, that should be plus D. Is that okay? Okay, then here we are going to have 6 negative 19, and then which is equal to this plus that should be B, and then what? D. This means that we have our B to be equal to 6, right? So this guy is equal to this, and then D is also equal to what? Negative 19. Now, if you combine the two together, we are going to have the AB. So if you add the A initially, we had our A to be equal to negative 13, and then C should also be equal to 4. So the matrix that we are going to have, right? So the matrix that we are going to get here, which is the A, right? So A is equal to, we have A, B, and then C, and then D, right? So this is what we are having. So if you replace all the letters here, we are going to have our A to be equal to negative 13, B is equal to 6, and then C is equal to 4, right? So and then we had a D to be what? Negative 19. This is what the heat or the transformer. Is that okay? So this is what the matrix that is transforming all the items together. So you may try the next two questions and comment down below. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, give us a like for more content like this.